Okay, hello everyone. My name is Vega and I'm a US-based photographer. Today we're going to take a look at editing this bridal portrait, which you can see is a little overexposed, and we're just going to bring it down and make it pop. Excellent. If you had a chance to see my previous video, you'll know that the last one was in pretty poor quality. There was no talking. So this is my second video. Hopefully this one goes a little better. Okay, so let's get started. I'm just gonna run through the basics. We're gonna bring that exposure down so you can see, since this is a raw image, so many of the details are preserved. And we're just gonna bring it down a little bit. And I'm just not a fan of how this is looking already, just based on the crop. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust that. I'm gonna keep it on 3.2. We're just gonna move it out a little bit. We're gonna want her hands in. We don't want to cut off there. Still looks a little strange, so we'll bring it out a little bit more. Beautiful. And we'll also go ahead and level it. Very tiny adjustment. Excellent. Now we're going to bring our contrast up. Bring our highlights down just a smidge, but we're going to bring our whites up to compensate. Going to bring our blacks down a smidge, but then bring our shadows up a little bit to compensate. So you can already see the differences there. And one of the next changes I like to make is coming down. We've got our chromatic aberration and lens correction enabled good. And we're just going to take a look at some of these finer details. So the exposure, the lighting, the angle, it affects so much about the way skin shows up in a photo. And you can see there's just a small amount of texture, and it has blown my mind as a photographer doing this for about 5 years, how much your lighting can affect the overall outcome. Like, lighting is everything in photography. That's why we have lashes. So what I'm gonna do here is just, we're gonna bring our texture down just a little bit. I think it makes it a little bit more soft, a little bit more dreamy. I'm gonna bring our clarity up a little bit. We'll dehaze it a little bit, and we'll put a nice vignette on it. Bring our midpoint down. But you can see how dramatic that makes it. We're gonna adjust the roundness so you can do as much or little. The feather is where it all really sets in. So you can see. I like it. Just puts the emphasis on our bride here. Add a little grain just for the artistic flair. And we're going to come in and sharpen it. And sharpening is a very interesting thing in the sense of, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here so we can just see like details, details, details. We'll do like right here. So sharpening, it can do that, it can do that. And all of these play together. So first we're going to do our masking to figure out what it is we want to be included. Well, let me do that. And I'm on a Mac, so I hold Control and then drag these sliders. And when your masking is set to 0, everything in the photo is included. When it's set to 100, only the white outlines are included. That is what is going to be enhanced. And really, we just want the gross details. We want those to be nice. And we're gonna set and do the same thing with the radius, which just, I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I know that it is very important. I believe that it just adjusts the radius of these, the sections being sharpened, which just affects how smooth it is towards the end. And so if we just zoom back in here, we can see it just looks smoother, but we are, I was talking to someone about this recently, and it's just a matter of I'm a professional photographer, but I'm not a professional photo editor. So I kind of just come in and play with these. You can do the AI noise reduction, but I've not been exceptionally pleased with it. So I kind of just come in here and mess with this myself. Detail, no. And since this is such a well-exposed photo, there will be little to none color noise, because that comes into play much more frequently at lower exposures. We have much less light, because again, light is everything. So we're gonna come up again, take a look at this sun, and I'm just gonna bring the texture down a little bit more, bring our clarity down a little bit more. And now we're gonna come back out and just take a look at the overall photo. And so what I'm seeing is it just looks a little blue. Looks a little blue. So we're gonna come in, bring this up a smidge, see how that looks. Looks a little green, so we're gonna bring this up a little bit. Now it looks a little dark, so we're gonna come back up here, bring our blacks up, bring our shadows up, bring our whites down. And bring our shadows up a little more. And then actually, so I'm gonna bring this down. We're gonna come in here and do a subject mask. Let's see if it gets just the bride or if it's gonna include everyone. I may have asked too much of it. Oh, it did it, yay! So we're gonna bring her up a little bit in brightness and bring her shadows up. Bring her blacks down. And we're gonna do one of these guys. And we're going to, oops, subtract the background. Let's see if it gets everything. It sure did. And then when I do the full background like this, what is this? Oops, that was meant to be subtracted. Let's just delete and try again. Perfect. And when it's like this, I find that sometimes the subject ends up looking like it has been photoshopped into the scene. So I'll come in and also add back some of the closer sections to her, just to make it look a little bit better. Sometimes that's easier with other masks, but this is one that I just use fairly often. So we're gonna do that. Beautiful. Excellent. So this is where we started, and this is where we are now. Yeah, this was a really, really, really lovely wedding. The bride and the groom were awesome to work with. Some of the sweetest people I've ever met. Bring the vibrance up a little bit. Oops. Then one more thing I'll do is kind of adjust any colors that are kind of competing with other tones in the photograph. So the greens and the yellows in Alabama, we have very green and very yellow. Saturation in the summer, taking any photos outside, it automatically gets a green tint, and that's why sometimes, like, let's see, being on a 28 pink or the magenta tint on this slider, you know, becoming really noticeable that high just means you got a lot of wiggle room, because the photo is inherently green, and I sometimes find that I'm having a difficult time choosing between, well, is it too green, is it too pink? Maybe I need to go and take a little bit of a break, because the colors all start running together. And then it was storming on the day of this wedding, but luckily it missed us completely. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of bring it down a little bit. So if we made it super stormy, that's a sci-fi storm. This just looks kind of unnatural. Let's see, should we bring it down? No, that looks sad. We'll bring it up a little bit, maybe make it a little happier blue, maybe. You can tell it's a storm, but that's okay. But now it kind of looks a little weird, so we're gonna bring this back down. And now we're gonna double check skin tones. Sometimes that can change a little bit. And usually it's fixed by bringing the orange towards a little bit more red hue, bringing the saturation down and the luminance. But again, this is one of those things that I play with a lot until it feels right, until it looks right. And then I'll also bring the red over to the orange side. Sometimes reduce saturation, sometimes increase it, but always, usually reducing the luminance. And now they seem a little too orange, so I am going to bring this over a little bit more to the red. Now it feels too red, so yeah. When people ask why their photos take so long to get back, if they only knew how much time I spend adjusting these colors. And then purple, you might not think there's any purple in this photo, but as we can see, her hands, what a beautiful ring. We've got some colors here. Let's see, I forgot what that was called. Diffringing. So we can come in here and adjust that. We'll basically take a little sample. It'll tell us what color it is. I can see that that's purple, Adobe. Come on, come on. Okay, but anyway, let's see what happens if we do this. Alas. So we're gonna come out and just take a look at the skin tone. This is where we started. This is where we are now. And again, that's really affected by how much we adjusted the exposure. So if we raised our shadows, we would see that change. So this is a photo that I would be more than happy to deliver. Absolutely pleased. The one and last thing I'm going to change is just bringing, like, I'm going to make her hands a little less shadowy, because for some reason that is just giving me weird vibes. Like, I just want them to be a little brighter, so we're just going to come in and raise the shadows there. Kind of fits in with the exposure of her arm on this side because the sun was on this side. I just tried to point at the screen and you wouldn't have been able to see that. See, now that's a little too much. But we'll bring our blacks down a smidge. And kind of the same happening here. Yeah, I just want to brighten her face up on that side, around her cheeks, around her eyes especially. And this is where we were before. And now this is the after. And if we take a look at our mask on and off, so this is our mask off, this is our mask on. I'm telling you, those hands, such a tiny detail, but look at how much different they look when the shadows are there versus when they're not. Love it. I love it. Now our eyes look really bright. I love that. You want to see what that looks like? No. Okay. Excellent. I adore it. I adore it. I love that. So this is a photo I'm going to be absolutely happy to deliver. The bride will love it. She looks phenomenal. And this pose is also really simple to set up. You have the bridesmaids in a line behind the bride, and you have the bride walk about 10 feet up. Just make sure the bridesmaids are in a line so you can see all of them, and kind of leave a space behind her so everyone's faces are visible. And I absolutely adore it. One of my favorite. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. If you have any tips or tricks, please comment and let me know. But if you're looking forward to seeing more content, seeing more photos being edited, please like and subscribe and share with any of your other photographer friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon.